Live from tape, pre-recorded at our studios in Austin, Texas and Portland, Oregon, it's Syndicated with Leslie and Ben. Hi everyone, I'm the Ben of that.
I'm the Leslie. This is a twice monthly podcast about television, genre, and storytelling, in which we watch an episode of a show and explore the history of television one episode at a time.
If you're just now joining us, we are halfway through our adult animation season, and that means we're talking about Futurama, the hit science fiction series that aired on a number of networks for a number of seasons. As of right now, I mean, technically,
no,
it's true.
It is true. It is true, though.
Hard to credit it with any one enterprise at this point. As of right now, Futurama aired on Fox from 1999 through 2003 and on Comedy Central from 2008 through 2013. The reason we're covering it on the show now is because it's just been announced that there's going to be a Hulu revival that has already steeped itself in some controversy.
It's true. Can't wait to talk about that. The show features the adventures of Philip Fry, just called Fried through the series, a 1990s pizza delivery burnout who becomes transported to the distant year of 3000 after accidentally getting trapped in a cryogenic freeze chamber on New Year's Eve in 1999. In the far future, he befriends alien mutant Leela, an alcoholic robot bender, and gains fulfilling employment working as a delivery guy for Planet Express, a company owned by his own distant descendant, Professor Farnsworth.
What a concept.
Yeah.
I like how, look, The Simpsons is going to come up a lot today.
Oh, sure. Sure.
But I do love how, in terms of escalation of concept, The Simpsons is just, it's a family in the suburbs.
I was thinking the same thing as I was watching this show. As we're going to get to in a moment, we'll get to this in a moment, but we did watch season 1, episode 2. And because of that, obviously I just started from the beginning. I watched episode 1 first, then I watched episode 2. I mean, it's 2 episodes. So,
yeah, we might as well.
Might as well. And it's been a hot minute since I've watched any Futurama, so I decided to refresh my memory. And I was definitely thinking about that as I was watching the pilot, because the pilot has a ton of exposition as to what exactly is happening here, because it has to, because this show is a concept. Whereas, like you said, and I kept thinking about The Simpsons and being like, yeah, it was just a family in the suburbs, and then they went on to make this. So yeah.
And I have next to no familiarity with whatever Disenchanted is about, but I am assured it's got an equally convoluted premise.
Honestly, I don't really remember. Disenchanted is definitely for sure the worst thing that Matt Groening has ever touched. So it's very bad. It's very bad.
Yeah.
It's very bad.
Well, that's not great to hear.
Sorry.
I'll live. I mean, I wasn't going to watch it anyway.
Well, don't. I wouldn't recommend it.
The show is, of course, created by Simpsons creator Matt Groening, who worked with former Simpsons writer David X. Cohen to bring Futurama to life. Cohen wrote the Lisa the Vegetarian and the Itchy and the Scratchy and Poochie Show episodes, as well as contributing to a number of Treehouse of Terrors. The Simpsons' clever DNA can be seen all over Futurama, from its artistic style to its National Lampoon and vaudeville roots. The visuals, yeah, I mean, of course it's the successor to The Simpsons, just because of, the way characters are kind of shaped. The eyes. It's mostly the eyes.
Well, no, it's everything. It's the eyes, it's the mouths, it's the hands, it's the general roundness and soft lines of people. Not a lot of angular stuff going on in the art style.
And then, once again, Disenchanted is just almost like pound for pound, just equating the direct art style of... I'm saying things change between The Simpsons and Futurama.
Yes, that is true.
Whereas Disenchanted just seems to be copy-paste Futurama. But again, not to get into a show I haven't seen yet, but looks boring.
It is so awful.
I remember when that show first got announced that someone circled. There's like a little black like imp thing or something, and I remember on Twitter someone like circled that and just went, "That's a Bart.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just a Bart." They've made another one on accident. Anyway, but yeah, no, it's cool how like I mean we can get into the writing of how these shows work a little later, but like it's so clear that same writing style carried over from one to another, which is not a complaint because obviously as has been discussed on podcasts hosted by adults in their 30s for years, Simpsons has a fall off point.
Sure.
And Futurama's first couple seasons, are pretty fucking solid.
Yeah.
So, it's nice that style of writing lived on, even if the original form of it didn't.
Yeah.
It's nice that style of writing got to kind of live on, even if the original iteration of it kind of faded out.
Well, there's only so long you can do something before it gets stale. And The Simpsons definitely passed that threshold about 15 years ago.
Did you hear that, Hulu? There's only so long you can do something before it gets stale. Anyway. But I'm not saying that Simpsons started sucking on the dot in 1998 just as Futurama came into existence.
Sure.
But it is nice to kind of view that as an extension of it. I don't know when Simpsons got bad. I never really got that far. I watched 6 seasons of the show.
I think
that's enough.
I didn't get that far either. I feel like I watched it for a while as a kid. It was funny. I kind of outgrew it, and then it was just understood that it sucks now.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about it.
And I don't know enough about the show to quantify the politics of I don't mean literal politics. I mean the whole how people are like, oh, the Al Jean era is when it went bad. I don't.
Oh yeah.
Know or care about it.
Yeah, I don't know or care about any of that either. I just know I watched it when I was a kid. It was funny. Now it sucks. That's what I know.
Now it sucks. I don't know whose fault that is, and I don't care whose fault that is. That's what I'm.
Whoever keeps giving them fucking money, that's whose fault it is.
Whoever, continues to not shake up.
Yeah, whoever's
who the showrunner is.
Whoever's this is fine.
Again, I'm not naming any names. I don't care. but I'm not naming any names. I don't care. But the guy who runs it has been running it for 25 years straight. Mayhaps we mix that up.
Right.
Perhaps we put in. Perhaps we put a new team in at the top.
This reminds me of that. There's a Key and Peele skit because there's always a Key and Peele skit. There's a Key and Peele skit where they make fun of Stan Lee, and Stan Lee comes in and pitches all of his ideas to the board, and they're all just the saddest, stalest ideas from an old man that you could possibly imagine. So, I'm just saying, they were onto something with that.
I mean, very genuinely, that's what made Marvel grow as a concept, is that people like Jim Shooter and whatnot, who were fans of the original 1963 through 1970 run of Marvel Comics, then stepped in to run Marvel Comics after that.
Right.
Your Jim Shooters, your Bill Manlows, your Steve Gerbers, those kind of guys. Successive generations help a franchise grow like that. And that's how we got the weird 70s cosmic shit and the Guardians of the Galaxy and Deadpool and whatnot.
Or you could be the Simpsons.
Yeah, and the new X-Men. Wolverine wouldn't exist if only Stan Lee was still in charge.
What? That's crazy.
Keep the train moving.
Yeah, you got to keep the train moving. It's important.
Anyway, it's your turn.
Oh my God.
Sorry, you have to do this next part because I'm ripping my hair out.
No, it's all right.
And that takes most of my concentration.
I understand completely. Veteran Looney Tunes voice actor Billy West plays Fry, a certified 20th century loser who finds himself careerless and friendless in the year 1999. Raised on pop culture, Fry has an optimistic idea of what the future is supposed to be that is derailed at every possible moment in the show. Billy also plays the ship's doctor, Dr. Zoidberg, Fry's descendant and boss, Professor Farnsworth, and macho space adventurer Zap Brannigan.
Wow, beautiful characters.
I had no idea that Billy West voiced those other characters as well.
Oh yeah,
no clue.
He's everyone. Here's the thing about this show in particular, in contrast with the previous four shows that we've covered for the adult animation season so far is I think this is the most voice actor heavy one.
Yep.
Like, and I mean that like capital V veteran voice actor.
Yes.
Not to say that like Mike Judge isn't a capital V veteran voice actor, but like, okay, Castlevania has a largely celebrity cast.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Clone High is mostly people from like other sitcoms and Scrubs.
I was about to
Nothing
say Scrubs mostly, and some other things, a smattering of other things.
Yeah.
But not voice talent. You know, if you saw them on the street, you would recognize them from the TV, whereas most of the cast of Futurama, you would not.
Yeah, whereas this show is the first time we're going to see names like Phil Lamar, John DiMaggio, Billy West. Like, these are, look, he's not in this list, but like, Rob Paulson, and like those kind of guys.
I'm actually so glad that we are discussing this show for so many reasons, but this is one of them. This conversation that we're having about voice talent, even without the controversy that we will be getting into in a moment, I have very strong opinions about this, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, same. So do I.
So speaking of,
but yeah, like people like that, like Rob Paulson and whatnot, like who just appear in fucking everything.
Yep.
Like, and good for them because they're fucking talented.
Sure.
He also not on this list, like Maurice LaMarche. Who plays Kif.
Right.
But, people that are just in fucking everything.
Yeah.
And it was hard to pick, like, well, what's Billy West from? Because the answer is a little bit of everything.
That is true.
Which is the same that can be said for pretty much anybody on this list. They're all from a little bit of everything.
Yep.
That being said, specifically Billy West was in Space Jam as Elmer Fudd and Porky Pig.
Of course.
So,
well, sure.
That being said, Katie Sagal, who previously played Peggy Bundy on Married with Children and Gemma Teller-Morrow on Sons of Anarchy, voices Leela, the one-eyed Cyclopean mutant who captains the Planet Express's only ship. Leela has spent enough time living her life in the future to act as a foil to Fry's optimistic view of the world to come.
I love Katie Sagal so much. I love her so endlessly. She is one of my favorite artists in this industry.
Really?
I love her work. I love her. One time, I actually got to watch a conversation that she had with Norman Mailer. It was extremely enlightening.
Damn.
It was incredibly cool. It was amazing. I love her, and she does not get enough credit for her comedic timing and her ability to because I love that we were talking about, like all these voice actors, and they were like, anyway, so speaking of that, here's somebody who was on TV before, as an actor. But gosh, she does such a great job playing Leela. She just does everything she touches is gold, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, but there's some people who like there's a lot of debate nowadays, especially with all these celebrity voice casting, kind of stunt casting.
Right.
Around like who's qualified to do voice work. And like, there's this distinguishment between like, veteran voice actor talent and people who train to be voice actors versus, people who are like, celebrities from other mediums who are brought in. But pretty much everybody hands like a pass card to Mark Hamill. Because Mark Hamill's obviously been doing voice work since the fucking Batman the Animated Series.
God, yeah.
And even before that, when he was doing like Star Wars audiobooks like 10 years prior to that.
Look, my thing about that is if you perform in and manage to get through the Star Wars holiday special, you can do whatever the fuck you want after that. I mean, you can do no wrong at that point. You manage to get through that and you live to tell the tale. You can do voice acting if you want. You can do whatever you want to do. You've earned your stripes.
Exactly. Now, I'm just saying there are people who earn their stripes by, if you look at the resume we just read, Married with Children, Sons of Anarchy, and Futurama, that's comedy, drama, and animation. That's a triple threat, baby.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about that, but you're right. She was also a guest star on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I think. Yeah. But
Oh, yeah.
she was Jake's mom. And I was really happy when she came on screen because I love her. I love her. And I would die for her. Katie, if you're listening, I would die for you.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't think anybody's complaint is you can't work in other mediums or whatever.
Sure.
But, like, you know, it's people who are vacationing in voice work versus people who have done the work for like 20 years.
Absolutely correct. Yes. Nailed it. John DiMaggio plays Bender, the show's runaway success character. Bender went to bending college to be a bender of steel girders, but quickly abandoned his career to join the Planet Express team. DiMaggio is perhaps best known for playing Jake the dog in Adventure Time, although in my heart he's best known for playing Waka in Final Fantasy X.
Ah, yes, of course.
In my heart, John DiMaggio is my favorite for playing Waka.
Of course. I always try to go for... I mean, so many people are also in movies in the shows that we cover, but I always try to cover
the biggest.
Their other TV work.
Yes, of course. But yes, he is... I do think he would be best known for playing Jake the Dog by most people.
Well, Jake the Dog, obviously, and this character.
Well, Bender aside, I think is implied. Oh, that rhymed.
Yes.
I'm like a poet. And I had no idea. John DiMaggio has declined to play Bender in the upcoming Hulu revival, leading to some industry conversations about how voice actors are treated when their work enters syndication and the endless cycle of revivals.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. This sucks, man.
Yeah.
Gang, if a show runs for 7 seasons, it doesn't need to come back.
I will be honest, I was not thrilled when I found out that there was going to be a revival. Because I am rarely thrilled when I find out that there's going to be a revival of pretty much anything. I do believe that entertainment exists in a vacuum, in so much as the creative aspect, the creation of something. You know, and it's, man, TV shows are exhibit A of you die the hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Absolutely.
There is not an example I can think of any show that has been on for 25 years that is still good, except for Law and Order SVU. I do not think that there... And that's another thing, Ben. Not to veer off of the topic at hand, which is compensating voice actors, syndication, and TV being on for too long, and revivals. Get off my lawn, damn it! But I also
Simpsons.mp3 plays louder in the background.
Yeah, but I also want to say that for most animated creations in which there is more than one show by the same creator that has a similar style, everyone has their one show that they associate with that creator. Like Bob's Burgers came out with Central Park, but have I watched Central Park? No, I have not. And why have I not?
Doesn't look good.
Because I don't want to see Bob's Burgers, but different. I just want to see, I personally have a hard time switching shows like that. I have a hard time. I probably won't ever watch Central Park for that reason. But for me, instead of The Simpsons being that one Matt Groening show that I will watch, it's Futurama for me. This is the one for me.
Yeah, I think same. I'm tired of... I try to stick to original programming. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Succession. I really like Station 11, which kind of just finished. I mean, I know it's based on a book, but like, I really do try to stick to... I don't want to sound like I'm just complaining about revivals and reboots, but I watch all of them. Like, I really do try to support new art as new art comes out.
Sure.
And cater my television preferences to that. I don't want to see I don't want to see so much of, and I know I've complained about this in past episodes, but I don't want to see so much of our media landscape just be stuff from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s.
I completely agree.
Recut. So, I mean, I'm already, like, I'm following along with Marvel, but, like, I've already fallen off of the Star Wars TV train. I have no intention of watching Boba Fett or Mandalorian Season 2. Amazon just started basically announcing that they're going to start subdividing Lord of the Rings like Disney's already doing with Star Wars and Marvel.
I absolutely saw that. I did see that.
And I have no interest in watching Rings of Power or fucking War of the Rohirrim or whatever.
So here's my question. The reason why they're doing the reboots, the revivals, the what have yous, is because of the nostalgia for the 80s, 90s, and noughties that we as adults our age now have. What the fuck are they going to do when the kids are our age? There's nothing new to draw from. All you've done is revivals and reboots and... so what are they gonna? Are we just gonna be watching the fucking Simpsons until the year 3000?
2035, it's like Succession 2, and they're like, now look, we all miss Dad, because obviously Brian Cox will have passed by then. Dad was a good guy, but maybe it was kind of fucked up. This is Jeremy Strong's voice, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing here. Well, that I was thinking about that recently because like over this last like fucking winter. And look, over this last winter we had like Scream 5, Matrix 4, Futurama's getting rebooted, Clone High's getting rebooted, Scrubs is getting rebooted. Like the window is closing. The era of Lord of the Rings,
Star Wars, Lord of the Rings,
Rings of Power,
Marvel for days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, specifically with like Rings of Power, I know it's all based off of the Silmarillion and whatnot.
Which I mean, I don't.
But like, hear me out on this.
Okay.
Like, what I'm saying is like the window is shifted. It's now the stuff that's getting rebooted now is from 1996 through 2004. We're closing in.
That's true. That's what I'm saying.
Leslie, there's not a lot of time left.
That's what I'm saying. Like, literally, they're going to run out of fucking material. And then, before you know it, we're going to have, like, fucking Rankin and Bass reboots. Because they're going to have to go backwards. Because they can't go forwards anymore.
The things getting the nostalgic reboots now are only from 15 fucking years ago.
Oh, my God. Oh no!
Now, I mean, obviously, I know Scream started in '96 or whatever, but Scream 3 was from 2000, so come on.
Right.
And hell, even I had it in my brain and it just left me. Oh no. Even the latest Spider-Man is capitalizing off of 2002 nostalgia.
That is super true. That's so true. You know, like when spoiler alert, Tobey Maguire shows up and everybody's losing their minds. That was in the 2000s. Like, that happened. This is recent shit. Like, the nostalgia that you're feeling. And I know part of it is definitely the 1990s were only 10 years ago. No, for real, though. We are already rebooting things from, like, the teens. Here. Yeah. That's just...
I'm just... That rant about, like, the closing of time aside, I really... I don't know, support independent art.
Yeah.
Or independent art, but also like new art. See new movies, please. I'm begging. You don't. You said art was made in a vacuum, and I mean, I want to like bounce off of that and say art's made in a capsule.
Yes. Which
is like art of any given time is an extension of that time, and that like endlessly rebooting things like Futurama or whatnot like doesn't.
I want to see something new. I want to see a new way of telling the same story because, as they say, of course it's true. Everything has been written before, but you don't have to take it that fucking literally and just make reboots. You can tell it in a new way or at least try. Entertainment has gotten very lazy. I will say that. I'm happy saying that.
And I'm obviously, I know there are tons of creators out there who are yearning to tell their stories in new mediums, and plenty of them are getting a chance to do so.
Sure.
I am fully willing to point the finger at an executive level,
100%.
where it is so much easier for television executives at streaming services or whatever to be like to slam the reboot Futurama button.
Yep.
And obviously there's so much good TV being made right now. I just wish it got the attention and I mean, it does get the attention. I just wish what's the TV revival that's been good? Go ahead. Let me know.
Yeah. I feel like between the TV revivals and US remakes of British shows, which has been going on for longer than it should have as well, I feel like I just want to see something new, man.
Yeah. And speaking of which, people have been clamoring for like 5 years straight. Reboot The Office, bring The Office back.
No!
Speaking of stuff that only happened 15 years ago.
Yeah. Don't get me started on The Office.
I don't want to sound too much of a fucking miser, but like...
We're definitely very get off my lawn this episode, Ben.
Yeah. But hey, talk about other shows we've talked about earlier this season. King of the Hill is of a time. And that time is like 98 through 2004.
It is absolutely of a time. And a lot of the pieces that make King of the Hill so great would not work right now for various reasons.
Succession is about corporate culture now. Station 11 is about the pandemic now. Make art about now. Yellow Jackets I hear is good. I don't know.
Yellow Jackets is really good.
It's Oh, I mean,
people say that Euphoria is good, but I couldn't personally get into it because that did not look like my high school.
Sure, but it's evidently about experiences now.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, good for y'all, high school students now. But I didn't get it. But that's okay, and I'm not slamming it. In fact, I think there should be more things like Euphoria out now.
Yeah, just make art for new generations.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too.
Oh, I mean, fuck. Hey, speaking about reboots from the early 2000s, I just thought of another.
Oh boy,
Many Saints of Newark.
So that was a movie, technically.
No, I know.
And also,
hey, remember that show from '99?
Yeah, I do feel like, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's the same as a reboot because it was a prequel.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm not being literal, but I more mean aren't you nostalgic for?
Right. You're nostalgic for Tony Soprano. Well, and actually, Ben, you do bring up a really good point, and you are correct. Even though it's not a reboot, it 1000% was riding on James Gandolfini nostalgia coattails, and I'll tell you why. Because his son played young Tony Soprano in the film,
exactly,
and he did a very good job playing young Tony Soprano in that film. So it'll scratch that itch if that's what you're looking for. So even though it wasn't a reboot, even though it was a prequel, even though it kind of tells, it builds upon the story that already exists, yeah, they definitely cashed in on James Gandolfini nostalgia for sure.
Yeah, which is just in good because we should all be nostalgic for James Gandolfini, gone too soon.
Absolutely.
I know. I don't want to sound like too much of a grump. I don't know.
We're just getting our fucking feelings out today, Ben.
Yeah, make art to reflect our current times. Give new talent a foot in the door. Watch new art. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, now that we've gotten that subject out of the way, let's talk about how they don't pay Dick.
Yeah. So Joe DiMaggio specifically. It was reported that he was like a holdout.
Yes.
On this new version of the show, and a couple other voice actors kind of rallied to his aid, including, I believe, Hamill and one other that I'm now suddenly drawing a blank on.
Tara Strong did. A bunch of people have.
Yes.
A bunch of people have.
But I think they were like, yeah. I saw some tweets that were like, I'm spacing on who it was. Anyway, who were like rallying around at? They were like,
Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill did.
Yeah, Mark Hamill and someone else I can't remember off the top of my head, and Tara Strong. I'm sure, but there's someone specifically I'm thinking of that I just drew a blank on.
Yeah.
Who were like, don't audition for Bender. We're watching.
Yep.
Yep. They were like, basically treating it like a scab position.
Yeah.
Like, don't fucking cross this picket line. We're trying to get Joe DiMaggio, or excuse me, that's the baseball player.
John DiMaggio.
John DiMaggio his fucking money.
Hey, but the thing is, yes, it is exactly like that. And I actually did see a tweet where somebody did literally say, no actor worth their salt is going to take this role. So I think, what do you think, Ben? I think that the reboot, revival, whatever the fuck, I think it's gonna be done without John DiMaggio. I don't
the runaway success.
I do not think they're going to be able.
show.
Well, because the thing is, because so many people are rallying behind John DiMaggio's request to be paid equitably, which is incredibly fair and right. How are they going to do it? You can't not have Bender on the show. And it's not,
he's okay, because that's the thing about these fucking reboots. Is so many of them will have like a bunch of people minus one or two people, and then they'll fucking do the, talking about Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie, they'll do the unfortunately Bender died on the way to his home planet. Tragically Roseanne is not here. Like,
she died of a pill overdose. Very dark stuff. But which is fucking annoying. Because now you have added something unnecessary to the canon of this property because you wanted some more money in your fucking pockets. I hate it. Mm-hmm. This is the same reason why Sherlock season 4 was fucking terrible, is because they retconned this lady into it that I now cannot watch the show without knowing that she was intentionally retconned as part of the reason why XYZ in previous seasons, when she wasn't even a fucking idea yet. Like, you did not write this show with this in mind, and now you want me to believe it. It's so intellectually dishonest, and that is why so many of these reboots and revivals without everybody participating and present they just don't work for me. It's so intellectually dishonest to be like, whoops, Roseanne died from pills, moving on with life now. Like, now that's something that I have to think about assuming I would watch Roseanne again, that I have to think about when I watch Roseanne again.
The Connors.
No, the original Roseanne.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I misinterpreted what you were saying.
No. Like, now, what I'm saying is now that's part of the lore. I now know that this woman slinging loose meat sandwiches is going to die of a fucking pill over it. It's so intellectually dishonest. Anyway.
How much longer is it before Kramer died on the way to his home planet?
I mean, and because
they're not putting Michael Richards on TV again.
Oh, they can't. Yeah, they can't put him on TV again. But they're running out of shit. Might have to reboot Seinfeld eventually. Oh, although they might give it the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air treatment. Have you heard about this? Have you heard about this show, this Bel-Air show?
Yeah, it's like a serious.
It's a drama based on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But so and I will say I watched an episode of it. Look, it's a concept. That's what I'll say. It's a concept. But going back to how voice acting doesn't pay dick, it's insane to me because watching actors rallying around another actor and supporting him for asking to be paid equitably for his work has been such an eye-opening experience for me in terms of how the industry works. There was a story that Jeremy Frank told about Maggie Roswell, who voiced Maude Flanders, and I
just saw that.
Yeah, so basically she asked for a raise. She wanted $6,000 per episode instead of the $1,500 to $2,000 she was getting paid, because she needed to literally fly from I think it was like Denver to LA to record, and she was just looking to recoup the cost of it. She was losing money by doing this job. And so instead of getting a like $4,000 per episode raise, Fox offered her a $150 raise. And
which doesn't even cover a plane ticket in 1995.
it truly does not. And like the main cast were making $125,000 per episode, and they can't give her the money she deserves to have so that she can start making money by doing this job. Like it's bananas. And I also think that this is speaking a lot to the general attitude about work reform that's going on in the country right now, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I as do I. I have been scrolling down John DiMaggio's Twitter account as we've been talking, so that I could find who I was thinking of. The answer was Steve Blum. That's right, X-Men 1992's Wolverine. Was the other guy. Da 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 da. Which is also getting rebooted.
Oh, are you serious?
As part of one of their Disney days or whatever, they announced X-Men 97.
I'm gonna fucking
the sequel series to X-Men 92.
Fucking scream. Okay.
Just watch new art.
Watch new art.
In addition to the principal cast, Phil LaMarr voices Hermes Conrad, the team's administrative officer and business manager, and Lauren Tom voices Amy Wong, Professor Farnsworth's engineering intern. Phil LaMarr should be recognizable as dozens of animated characters, including Samurai Jack, and Lauren Tom voices Connie and Min in King of the Hill.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
I promise.
No, I
bringing it back to John DiMaggio, whose, again, roles are numerous, he played the Scotsman on Samurai Jack.
Did he really?
Yeah. So, Phil LaMarr, who voices Hermes, was Samurai Jack. So, that's a
really
fun comparison between
really
the two.
Cool.
Last but not least, the episode we watched today is Season 1, Episode 2, The Series Has Landed. The Planet Express delivery team gets their first real mission as they're tasked with delivering a crate of Crane game toys to the moon. While Fry is excited to travel to the moon for the first time in his life, he becomes quickly dismayed that the moon, and the future, isn't all it's cracked up to be. On the bright side, the gang gets to spend time hanging out on the happiest place orbiting Earth, at least as long as the sun stays in the sky.
Wow.
That bright side pun was unintentional.
It was excellent. So I have a question for you, Ben.
Sure.
This was your staff pick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's well, first of all, we both wanted to do Futurama. I don't have to ask why, but I do want to know why you chose this episode.
Yeah, so the news came out, and I kind of Leslie and I were not sure who we were going to book next. We had a number of guests that were kind of in the buzz.
Oh, and they're coming
for this,
too.
but we
They're
didn't
still
actually
coming
know.
as well, and it's going to be a really great time.
Still coming. Oh yeah. Pretty much everyone we talked about, we're still going to do a show with. But we were like, well, we don't know which one we're going to do next,
Right.
and we're operating on a tight schedule right now. I'm about to move. We're like, oh, let's just do like a staff pick or something, and then the news about Futurama broke, and it's like, oh shit, well there we go.
Obviously, we're going to do. Well, I will say that Futurama was always a staff pick for discussion for this season of Syndicated with Leslie and Ben.
Yes.
But now was the time. Now was the time.
Yeah. If I get one more staff pick, I might suggest Venture Brothers, but who knows?
I don't know. I think I'm due for a staff pick, honestly.
Well, you got time.
You're right, I do.
But yeah, no, it seemed like a perfect time to talk about it. Especially because I think this might be a controversial statement.
All right, I'm ready.
I think The Simpsons is much more family oriented, whereas I think Futurama is more explicitly adult.
I agree with you. I completely
think there's
agree
a
with
lot more. I think that not that this is the only quantifier of what makes something adult, but I think there's a lot more sex and nudity and like that kind of humor in Futurama. Mm-hmm. And I think that's more sparing in Simpsons.
I also feel like the jokes are more sophisticated.
Yeah. Well, sure.
They are. They're more sophisticated. I mean, the jokes in The Simpsons are sophisticated. They are sophisticated, or they were anyway. They were sophisticated, but I do feel like there is added context and nuance based on the fact that there is this subplot, going on. Like the future is a character the city's a character, man. But the future is definitely a part of it, you know. So it lends some nuance. I mean, The Simpsons was great at what it did in a time, but I do feel like Futurama is slightly more sophisticated.
Yeah. And obviously both of these are network TV shows. No one's swearing.
Sure. There's no
so,
violence or tits, but this is not a family-oriented show, for sure. I hear what you're saying.
Right. Whereas Simpsons is a slightly raunchier family sitcom for the most part. Futurama feels more firmly adult.
I agree.
I think that's my reasoning.
I think that The Simpsons also was bridging a gap that existed at the time between adults and totally. Family animation.
Yes, yeah, totally. Because also, you know, it kind of pioneered the genre that it's in.
It truly did. And for that reason, they had to tread lightly to not lose one of the many demographics that exist for eyeballs on the screen.
Right.
So they were a little more careful than Futurama had to be.
A genre that, of course, is now a late night television staple, because we've already certainly mentioned, our Family Guys, Bob's Burgers, and all of the weird Bob's Burgers visual spin-offs that are happening these days.
Central Park and whatever the other one is.
Yeah, the one that's like in Alaska or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah, it's not necessary. Like, I get that you look. I get it. You're an artist. You're a creator. You want to create new things. I know that I just said create new things. I just don't want to look at that style on another property.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's me. That's a Leslie thing.
Yeah, of course. No, I understand. But obviously Simpsons had to pioneer that genre to exist in the first place of the animated family sitcom or the animated adult sitcom or whatever.
Right.
Which, again, now so established now, it's hard for those not to get greenlit, apparently. Anyway, the reason I picked Futurama is this is my first exposure to this kind of humor and this kind of animation style, because as I believe I mentioned in the preceding episode, in our Clone High episode, I didn't watch Simpsons until last year.
Right.
I got into Simpsons basically when it all went up on Disney Plus. It is not something from my childhood. It was looked down upon in my childhood as too crass for my young eyes.
How interesting.
Yeah, well, you know how I grew up.
That's true.
And meanwhile, Futurama, I believe, was... And also, for a while, The Simpsons was not readily accessible in streaming. Until Disney Plus, I believe. Now, there were certainly reruns, and sometimes Fox would do, like, every Simpsons in a row or something. But until it got bought out by Disney, Simpsons was not readily accessible as streaming. Futurama has been readily accessible as streaming since, like, 2015.
Truth. Facts.
Which is when I was in college, and that's how I watched it.
Yep.
Which is the best time to start watching Futurama.
Oh my God, Ben, we get it. You went to college.
I meant when you're like 21, it's the best time to start watching Futurama.
I have to say it every time you say that you went to college. That's just it.
All right. Well, I'm young. It's like a decent chunk of my life. Anyway.
Oh my God, we get it. You're college educated. Good for you. But yeah.
Me and my fucking 2.85 looking real fucking smart. Anyway, I'm kidding. It's higher than that, I promise. Future employers. Anyway.
Why this episode?
I like how in Futurama there are two moments from this episode. Let me actually open my notes for the first time today.
Sure.
There are two moments in this episode that are like one where Fry's like, so where are we going? And Leela just replies, nowhere special, the moon.
Yeah.
And then there's, I didn't write down the second one, but it was like, no one knows how and when humans landed on the moon.
Right.
But our Fungineers think it went like this or whatever. And I just love the contrast between, like, again, Fry's, like, growing up in the era of, like, Star Trek and Star Wars and Back to the Future, being like, oh, this will be the future, everything will be automated and convenient and, you know, utopian and whatnot, and we'll, you know, we'll be at the far reaches of space and society will be fixed and whatnot.
Yeah.
And our grandiose visions of, like, what the future is going to be contrasted against the future is just as, like, greedy and dirty and dumb as our present.
Yeah.
That you know, they're still mega corporations and no one picks up their trash and
Yep.
you know, all that. Like, the future sucks just as much as our present. And I know that's a core of a lot of science fiction. But it's funny here.
It's true.
You know, it's not dystopian. I mean, it is dystopian, but everyone's having a good time. I don't know.
Like there's a subreddit called a boring dystopia, and that there's because it's boring here. Yeah, we're in a dystopia right now, but it's boring. So, you know, I loved the mood of this episode. And I loved that you chose this episode because while the pilot explains why Fry is in the future, this episode elaborates upon the rest of the characters. This is when we meet pretty much everyone else aside from Leela and Farnsworth. And I love the way that they did it. I love the exposition. The jokes are so funny. The observations are clever. You know, what you just elaborated on yourself, Ben, going into how, you know, the future is just as dumb as the present, that was told in such a cool way, while they were also telling this other story, you know, the base story. They're also telling us what the mood and what the vibe, what the aesthetic, if you, of this show is going to be. They're telling us what you can expect, and that is observations about life told through the lens of somebody who is stuck in the future. From the present.
Thrown into the future. You know, dealing with, you know, the lazy guy on the moon who's like, you know, like, oh, don't even get me started.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the tacky theme parkness of it all, and, you know, the Dukes of Hazzard scene, you know, like everything from our present is still there.
Still there in the future. Maybe
you
that's...
know, we make contact with countless other species, and yet we're still the fucking same.
You know why? Because
maybe we make them worse.
Because of all the reboots.
Because of all the fucking reboots. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
But yeah, this episode was incredible. I had forgotten how good it is.
Yeah.
I feel like
Second reason I picked this.
I was just gonna say, I feel like I'm just gonna binge more Futurama when we get off this call and just do that for the rest of my day.
I feel you.
Anyway, the second reason.
Second reason I picked this episode is I love theme parks.
I know, I love theme parks too.
I think there's, I guess one more thing before I dive into the theme parkness of it, but also it is about the theme parkness of it. Is like, when I think of Futurama, nothing is further cemented in my head than the Bender line, fine, I'm going to build my own theme park. It's going to have blackjack and hookers.
With blackjack and hookers.
Actually, forget the theme park.
Yes, that is such a that's a classic line, and it comes from the second episode.
And similarly, nothing is further cemented in my mind than Leela and Fry on the moon rover going through the Whalers on the Moon outdoor ride, where Leela is like singing along, like bobbing her fingers back and forth, and Fry just has his like arms crossed, like, this isn't how it happened at all.
And then she's like, well, I didn't know you were a fungineer.
Yeah. And like that, like, I don't know, like something about like whatever from that entire first season, that's what locked in. It was like, oh, that's the concept of the show.
Yeah, definitely.
She's like, yeah, this is the reality we live in. And he's just like, yeah, but it's not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's so good. Ugh, the show is...
Which is like, that's the show.
The show is so good.
Leslie, do you know what I also watched in preparation for this episode?
What?
I watched the Simpsons episode. Itchy and Scratchy Land.
Really? And how was that?
Yeah.
And how was that?
Hey, it was good. That show, funny. No, I watched that because like that in my head was the other like principal, like making fun of theme parks
Yeah.
thing from some of these same creators, regardless of who actually wrote it. And I think it's so funny that a lot of the same beats in that episode are also in this episode, including the let's see, I think it's Laramie Cigarettes presents the Minefield in the first one.
Oh,
And then in this one,
Monsanto.
yeah.
Yeah.
Monsanto is essentially sponsoring the equivalent of the Country Bear Jamboree in this one.
Yeah.
You and I are both big theme park nerds.
That's true.
You recently went to Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, it was great.
I haven't been to a theme park in a while, but it's been a point of obsession across my entire life.
God, it was so great, Ben.
You know what they say, Leslie. There's just one moon and one golden sun, and a smile means friendship to everyone.
There's so
Yo-ho, a pirate's life
there's
for
so
me.
much that we share that it's time we're aware. It's a small world after
That
all.
grim, gritty ghost of modern socialize. Now close your eyes and try to hide with silly spookness by your side.
We like theme parks, okay?
We love our fucking theme parks. No, and I thought the theme park angle is like really fucking funny in this episode. Both like just how like fucking like, and look, I know as a huge theme park fan, I know how fucking tacky they are.
Oh, sure.
I don't care. It's what I'm there for.
That's what I'm there for. I'm there to buy into that. Like, I want to be given this manicured experience. That's what I want. Fuck you. I like it.
And I don't consider myself like a Disney adult by any stretch.
What is that? What is
like,
a Disney adult?
A Disney adult is a somewhat derogatory term that I kind of agree with.
Okay.
Where there are the people for whom devotion to the Disney brand, and specifically devotion to the theme parks, takes up a majority of their personality.
Oh, well, yeah. Then I'm not a Disney adult either.
Yeah.
I do fucking love it though, and we'll shove it fully up my
theme
ass.
Parks. Yeah, I love theme parks, and I love Disneyland specifically.
Yeah.
But I am not going to put a bippity boppity boo sign up in my kitchen.
Right. My welcome mat is not going to say
like dreams are made.
Right, or
something
whatever
like
it is. You know, a dream is a wish your heart makes. Come inside.
Exactly. I think derogatorily it kind of came to a head over the pandemic, where people were like, I haven't been in a year now. Complaining about like lift the mandates. We haven't been to Disneyland in a year. It's time for my yearly trip. And the rest of us are just like, what are you talking about?
Wow.
Like,
wow.
I have not stepped foot inside a Disney property since 2014.
So this is...
Or excuse me, sorry, I misspoke. Since I was 14.
Oh, wow, really?
I haven't been inside one since 2009.
No shit, Ben, I didn't know that.
And then people are like, yeah, which is why I'm so desperate to go back to any theme park.
We gotta go. I love that this is... Now people are just listening to us, just having a conversation about whatever the fuck. Anyway... So you love theme parks.
I love theme parks. Anyway, yeah. So like when Fry complains about like, this isn't authentic enough, etc. Like everything here feels fake. The gravity, whatever. Like obviously I get it because he's like comparing the moon, his because he grew up on like this huge like idolization of astronauts. Back in the 90s when we cared about scientists.
NASA was hugely popular.
And the joke is obviously it's contrasting, with the moon being not even like an interesting tourist event. It's just like,
yeah,
LA.
Right.
Or whatever. That has all been like his dreams of the future have all been commodified to death.
Yeah. In much the same way that, at Disney World specifically, Epcot has an entire section that's just little microcosms of other countries, but in a very sanitized, manicured way that is classic of theme parks in general. I mean, Six Flags does the same thing,
Of course, yeah.
You know, even Disneyland with its various lands, with Tomorrowland and Fantasyland and all of those lands that have themes, hence the name. The theme on this park is just the moon, which is a rock, as
Right.
far as the future is concerned.
And speaking of commodified and sanitized, Adventureland and Frontierland certainly don't get into what happened.
Right. Yeah, they're just like, look at this aesthetic. Do you want a Dole Whip? Like, it's not...
Here in Frontierland, where cowboys and Native Americans were neighbors and best friends.
Oh, shit, Ben. I do have to say that this episode of Futurama made me pause and think, have a hard think, when Fry and Leela are trapped outside on the moon's surface and they find the moon landing site so that they can shelter themselves. And Fry is like, this is so cool. There's the flag. There's Neil Armstrong's footprint. And then Leela was like, it's just a dumb plastic flag and a dead guy's footprint. And
In the dust.
in the dust. And I was like, I need to have a little bit of an existential moment here because she's right. And it's just this show is so clever. This show really runs the gamut of emotions from amusement to introspection to sadness. We're not talking about that episode today. But you know the one. You know the one.
I do.
But yeah, so it's just such a clever show.
For the listener who may not be familiar,
It's
one.
the dog one. You know the one. Ugh. Anyway, not talking about that, but am talking about how that moment really, really resonated with me and made me appreciate how sophisticated this show is. I love this show.
Yeah. It's Leela's ancient history, and it's not even her history. Because she's
not from Earth.
Well, I guess she is technically from here, but she thinks she isn't.
Right. Oh yeah, but she thinks she isn't, so
Right.
she doesn't have like the nostalgic, emotional connection to any of it.
Yeah. Couldn't tell you what season, but it's eventually revealed that Leela is not an alien. She's in fact a human mutant.
Right. Spoiler alert.
Anyway, but yeah, like it's just, I don't know, it's interesting to see, you know, because obviously so much science fiction is so very human-centric. You know, Star Trek especially is about humans venturing outward to other planets.
Yep.
You know, in Star Wars, everybody is already all combined together, you know, but like Trek is specifically about us going out.
Yes. Facts.
Like, and therefore it's, you know, it's very human centric, and it's about, you know, us exploring and us making first contact with all these other cultures and whatnot. And it's kind of interesting how this episode in particular kind of flips that on its head, where it's like, yeah, it's just congrats, you made it to your moon.
Yeah. Good
like
job.
That's, you know,
Yeah.
how much how alien centric this show can be sometimes, especially with Zoidberg earlier in this episode, where he's like, open your mouths and show me your brain. I don't care which mouth. Now look, young lady, I'm an expert.
Look, young lady, I'm an expert in humans.
Yeah.
Such a good joke.
It's just fun seeing that, like, kind of inverted, where like humanity is the one kind of under examination this time a little bit.
No, it really truly is. I mean, you know, they have in the pilot they have, you know, the Museum of Heads, and that's kind of part of that morbid fascination with humanity as well. So, which if you think about it, we already do. We idolize and romanticize a lot of past eras that maybe should not be. Some that are deeply, overtly problematic, and some that are just kind of boring. So, anyway, that's my rant on that.
Yeah, it's interesting because we this sentence is going to have the caveat where I'm talking about white American civilization.
Yes.
You and I are both from areas that are not very old. and again, I'm referring to American settler civilization, not obviously everything that came before that.
Right.
But like the oldest buildings in my city are like 100 years old.
Oh yeah, I will say, you know, we got some Victorian houses and stuff in my hometown, which again,
but also you're like capping off at like 200.
Yeah, that's I mean that's and that's the oldest, the absolute oldest. I will say, fun fact about my hometown: Tallulah Bankhead's house was there. It's called Sunset or something. I don't know. I've seen it. Whatever. There's a balcony. It's cool.
Yeah. Oregon was founded in like 1860.
Right.
Portland's buildings are from like 1890 at the earliest.
Right.
Like it's interesting because we don't obviously I'm surrounded by Chinook culture and you know, Portland is on Chinook lands. It's the heart of the Willamette and all that jazz. Like Fort Clatsop is on the west coast out here, the Lewis and Clark Fort. And you know, the Oregon Trail history is through here, but like, you know, again, in the civilization that I'm presently in, trying to be respectful of those who came before and all that. Yeah. You know, my world is not very old. And it's just so interesting to you know, the way these characters are talking, where like all this stuff happened like 1,000 years ago or whatever, you know. That's something that people in Europe can and China can say. And that we don't have, because we don't have an Oxford University that was built in 1100 AD.
Right.
Or a Notre Dame that was built in like 1300 AD or whatever. Or a Great Wall of China that was built 3,000 years ago.
Right. Yeah, we don't have any of that stuff here.
We have we have Fremont Street, which was built in like 1920.
Jeez.
And it's interesting to see how like, yeah, stuff from, again, Fry's relative recent history and then the year 3000's deep ancient history,
right,
is like commodified to death. And it's like, it's just a plastic flag and a dead man's tracks in the dust.
Yeah.
And we don't really have a point of comparison in our daily lives. But then, you know, Fry talks about like, you know, oh, this isn't authentic, the gravity's fake, everything's fake and whatnot. And meanwhile, that's kind of what appeals to you and I about theme parks.
It's true.
Because like, I don't know about the rest of y'all, I'm in the fucking real world every goddamn day.
Well, here's the thing though, Ben, is Fry didn't want to go to a theme park. Fry wanted to go to the moon.
Right, because it's still magical.
Right. And so, of course, if you don't want to go to it, if you're not trying to have a theme park experience and you're trying to have an authentic experience, that would be quite annoying. Could you imagine thinking to yourself, I want to go on a lovely nature hike, and then being taken to like Adventureland? That's pretty much what happened here. But I do agree with you. I'm in the real world every fucking day, and theme parks are rad.
Exactly. Yeah, if I tried to, for a point of comparison here in Portland, if I tried to go hiking up in Forest Park, up in Northwest Portland, and I instead got on the Bigfoot Extravaganza Nature Tour or whatever, right, which was a guided golf cart course, like
amazing,
or something along those lines. Anyway, it's just interesting, yeah, that like, I think this is a good encapsulation of like Fry's optimistic visions of what's to come.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Influenced by the NASA age and Star Wars and Star Trek and all that.
Totally agree.
Just being like so everyday, banal, ordinary to everybody but him.
Right.
Anyway, I think it's fun.
I love it. Okay, Ben. What's your favorite joke from this episode?
It is 100% Crater Face trying to confiscate Bender's alcohol. And him shoving it in Craterface's eye, thus recreating the Journey to the Moon silent film bit.
That's mine too. That's
Leslie, hello.
I'm serious. I have it written down. Georges Milieu, Trip to the Moon, sight gag. I literally have that in my notes. That is my favorite. I was obsessed when I saw it. Because here's the thing, Ben. The first time that I watched this episode of Futurama, I didn't know what that was. So that one completely passed me by. This time, I was so pleasantly delighted and amused by it. Yeah, straight up, that's mine too.
Did I say Journey to the Moon?
Yes, you did, but it's okay.
Oh, it's a Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Right,
Trip to the Moon. You're right.
Look, one you journey to, one you take a trip to. but
That's right.
But that's my favorite too. It's my favorite too.
As a backup favorite joke, Bender's quick aside of like, yes, I guess you'd have to be insane for a robot to be a folk singer or something like that. His like wistful line where he's like, yes, I suppose that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Where he's clearly pining for it.
Right. Yeah. I think that the subversion of a famous trope comedically, when Fry asks Bender, this is my runner-up, is when Fry asks Bender, oh no, did you try to seduce the what was her name? The robot daughter.
Crush-O-Matic or something like that?
Yeah, the Crush-O-Matic, and he says, no, lady that fine, you've got to romance first. Just amazing stuff. That's a runner-up for me, but I completely agree with you. My favorite joke was that side gag, 1,000%.
We spent so long talking about the nature of Hollywood. I do want to kind of dive just a little bit more into the meat of the episode.
Okay.
Which is that instead of like straightforward A plot, B plot, which this episode has.
It does.
Because it's Fry and Leela exploring around, and then there's like Amy and Bender trying to get the thing out of the crane game and all that. Mm-hmm. Simpsons and Futurama writing both seems to kind of operate in like stages. Instead of just straightforward A plot, B plot, it almost feels like there's like A plot part 1, A plot part 2, B plot 1, and then the culmination of both plots.
Right.
Like, and I noticed that in the Simpsons episode that I watched too, the Itchy and Scratchy Land one, where like the A plot is just them trying to convince Homer and Marge to take them to the theme park. Then the B plot happens after the A plot, where they finally get there, and the place is a dangerous disaster and all that. Similar with this one, it's about them getting there, and then the B plot is them leaving the park and going on the actual moon mission, where they encounter the Apollo landing and the Dukes of Hazzard scenario and all that. Like, while the C plot, which is Amy gets the keys back, is like all happening.
Yeah.
And I think it's like an interesting way that both of these shows are written. Maybe Disenchanted is written this way too. I don't know.
I never will.
Where it's like, where it's like, a story can start and finish, and it's still the first act, and then the second like plot line of that story happens. Homer buys something weird that then ends up affecting everything else or whatever. Or like there's like a long setup to, the first part of the episode might be Bart calling Australia and, harassing them. And then the second half is them just in Australia. And like the transition point from location A to location B happens at like the third mark, as opposed to like everybody being like, well, we've just now touched down on the moon. That there gets to be like, even though this is like, 22-minute comedy or even shorter, that there gets to be like a prologue act. That like Act 1 is a prologue for Act 2 and 3.
True.
Instead of just them like arriving media res in the moment. You know what I mean? And I think I've noticed that a lot when I was binge watching Simpsons last year. And I've noticed that here as well. With just the way, I mean, hell, even the pilot. Like, that first, 5-6 minutes takes place in 1999.
That is true.
And, like, he doesn't even meet, like, the professor or whatever until, like, the halfway mark of that pilot.
It's, like, in the last third of it, I'd say.
Yeah. So, it's like a rocket. There's, like, stage 1, and then the boosters fall off, and stage 2 happens.
Yep.
It gets where it needs to go, and then anyway, the rest takes over. I think that's like a really fun way of like structuring these kind of shows, so it doesn't feel too sitcom-y. The conflicts don't always present themselves at the very beginning. You know what I mean?
The formula is shaken up in just enough of a way that makes it entertaining and fresh. Kind of like what we're doing right now, instead of all these reboots. Just saying.
Hey. Also, Whalers on the Moon slaps as a song.
Yeah, it does.
There ain't no whales, so we sing tall tales. And anyway, the part where I also really like where Fry turns on the radio and he's like, blast the radio or whatever, and it's Whalers on the Moon still because it's a ride vehicle.
Yes.
And it immediately turns off.
Yep. That was very funny as well. So many funny moments in this episode?
I think that's about it for Futurama, unless you have something else to say.
I sure don't, Ben. I think I'm good.
All
I've
right.
said everything I need to.
Folks, my name is Ben Hamlin. You can find me online at Ben C. Hamlin. That is BenChamlin. I stream on twitch.tv/Infinity Break Gaming. You can check out all of my other work at infinitybreak.net. Listen to Parascience, listen to our other shows, patreon.com/Infinity Break if you want to support the show. And please do consider leaving a 5-star review wherever possible. Leslie, what about you?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at Vanetti, Vanetti. I talk about TV quite a bit. I talk about all sorts of fun stuff. Come hang out with me.
Yeah, we have a cool... We're kind of solidifying our lineup for the season. We got a couple of cool shows coming up ahead.
Yeah, we do.
Leslie, you have another staff pick and some time to think about what that's going to be.
I think I already know, but think about it.
Hell yeah. Sounds like we're going to be covering some FX stuff, some Adult Swim stuff. We got some good, interesting episodes in the works, and I'm really excited to share them all with you. Thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you in 2 weeks' time with another episode of Syndicated with Leslie and Ben.
Thanks.